The increasing complexity of your business when more than one owner is present. When we start out with just one owner of a business, things are relatively simple, meaning that the owner of the business is in control, right? They are basically the ones that can direct what happens. It's pretty simple in a single owner business. Whatever the single owner wants to do, they can do, whether they're a board of one, whether they have formal resolutions, whatever the case may be. We have a very simple structure, very simple allocation of profits, very simple decision making. As soon as we add a second owner, things get a lot more complicated. Not only do we now have to think about ownership percentages, voting, distribution of profits, but things like fiduciary duties take on a new meaning. Sure, fiduciary duties are technically owed in a single owner business. The single owner has to oversee themselves and make sure they're doing what's right for themselves as shareholders. But you can see, since it's the same person watching themselves, A, it's unlikely there's going to be a conflict of interest, and B, who's going to bring the lawsuit if there is? But as soon as there's two owners, then that real conflict becomes potential. Somebody could come in and claim something's being done wrongfully, and suddenly now things are a lot more complex, a lot more documentation, a lot more accounting work needs to be done, a lot more accountability becomes present, and we need to think about those ownership and control issues, particularly if we end up in a 50-50 situation. If there's not one clear lead person who has the majority of the shares and has full control, then we've got a real problem. So we need to start building from the foundation up, get things rolling, and then make things work the way they need to work. So what do we do when we go from one owner to two? Well, we need to go back and reevaluate the entire corporate structure. So this means we're looking, if in the case of a corporation, we're looking at those bylaws, we're looking back at the original articles, we're making sure everything's present there, and we're building things out. From an LLC standpoint, we're probably going back and rewriting the LLC agreement. So this is just natural progression. So when you just say, hey, let's just add another owner, if you're going from one to two, big changes are coming. Of course, big changes happen 2 to 3, 3 to 4, too, so you may want to evaluate those as well. We're not saying not to, but from one owner to two owners is huge. Two owners to three may or may not be a big deal depending on how the structure is built. Often when we build a business with two owners or three owners, we leave room for expansion and for new owners coming in. So it may not be as difficult. We may not have to do a fundamental rewrite. But when we go from one owner to two, we're almost always fundamentally rewriting those documents. If your business is in that situation, reach out to a lawyer of your choosing, sit down, review those documents together, figure out where you're at. If you have questions or comments that are general in nature, go ahead and drop them below. We love suggestions for future topics here on the channel, but remember, your comments will not be confidential. Don't put anything there you don't want other people seeing. And I hope you subscribe to the channel and go check out our library of past videos.